What's up everyone? My name is JavaMan, and I'm a huge fan of Rocket League and a fast-growing Twitch streamer. I host tons of Rocket League tournaments and open lobbies, and I've played with people who just started all the way up to the maximum ranks and even professional Rocket League players. With Rocket League free-to-play just around the corner, I decided to make this video to help new and low-ranked players increase their knowledge and to give you a ton of tips and tricks to get better. We're gonna move really fast and cover a lot of information, so feel free to drop a comment if there's something you want to know more about or come by my stream. Keep in mind, I use an Xbox controller, so be sure to translate what you need for your controls to whatever it is that you use. As I mentioned, I host a ton of tournaments and open lobbies, all at twitch.tv/javaman. Here soon, I'll be streaming every weekday night and doing Saturday tournaments that are free and open to everyone, so you can come by and test your skills. Without further ado, let's get into it. So today's video is how to get better at Rocket League. Now, as I mentioned, this is mainly for new players or low-ranked players, and it's really just a basic overview of how to get better. We're going to go over your settings, so your camera, controller bindings, controller dead zones. We're going to go over my basics, which is ball control, boost control, aerials, moving around the map, and rotation. And then to finish off, we're going to talk about just how to improve at Rocket League. So good practice habits and practice packs. So your settings. We're talking about your camera, your controller dead zones, and mainly we're going to talk about those control bindings. All of these things combined will set you up for a lot of success on Rocket League. So, first thing, turn off your camera shake. This is nothing but a distraction and people will make fun of you for having it on. Your field of view, which is how much of the field you can see on the screen at once, leave maximum. Your distance is how close the camera is behind your car. This can make a huge impact on your gameplay. Normally, a range for this is about 240 up to about 300. The height is how high the camera is relative to your car. Normally, you'll see a range of about 80 to 120 here. Your angle is how much the camera tilts to and away from the ground, with a range of about -7 to -2. The rest of these are entirely preference based, so I won't give you ranges, but I'll still explain them. Your stiffness is how much the camera moves away from your car as you reach higher speeds. Your swivel speed is how you can manually control the camera. Pushing it up higher means you'll be able to push your camera faster. And finally, the transition speed, which affects how quickly you can switch between having ball cam on or off. So going into your controls, your steering and aerial sensitivity affect how quickly you can move the car or how sensitive your controller is to it. A good range for these is between 1 and 4. Your dead zones is how much you have to push your controller in order to work. Have this up a little bit to prevent double jumping or backflipping. So at the top of your controls, hit view change bindings, and let's talk about your boost. A lot of people, you're going to want to take this off B, especially if you're new, and put it to right bumper so you can boost while driving and jumping for fast aerials. The new default for air roll is left trigger or L2. It was originally X, but make sure you have it on left trigger or left bumper to help with your controls. Air roll left and right is something you might want to consider, but normally it's for more advanced players trying breezy or tornado flicks. So going into your interface, not a whole lot matters here. Just make sure your nameplate scale is up so you can see opponents on the field. So for your video, this is console based, but all I can say for PC is the higher graphics and the more frames, the better. The only things that really matter on here are having your transparent goalposts on. Everything else is really just a distraction. So, if you have made it this far, congratulations. We are finally about to hit the field and really show you some examples, tips, and tricks of Rocket League with my basics. This is going to include ball control and dribbling, your aerials, your boost control, movement and momentum around the field, and finally, your rotations. All of these things combined will give you a good grasp of what Rocket League is really about and how to take your game to a whole nother level. So first thing first here is just pushing and moving the ball around the field. As you push it from side to side, You'll notice the ball sort of rolls on top of your car, but eventually you're going to want to practice keeping the ball on top of your car. The best way to do this is to look at the white circle or the ball indicator that's on the ground and try to drive exactly inside of that circle. When you move to one side or the other of the circle, the ball is going to sort of roll off or move in the opposite direction, and through small tweaks, you'll be able to really control exactly where the ball goes. Most people in the long run are going to find some sort of a hybrid with this, where you let it touch the ground some, you get it on top of your car some, and that is totally okay. As you get this down, you'll be able to start flicking with the ball, doing musty flicks, and even air dribbling straight off of the grounds. All these are really advanced, and I will cover this in future videos, but for now, I recommend just practicing the basics and just controlling the ball as much as you can and getting comfortable with how to move it around. So next up on our list here is aerials. All this really is jumping, tilting your car back, and holding down boost. You can double jump with this, but the best way to learn your aerials is fast aerials. So this is holding boost down the entire time while you're double jumping and tilting back. Be careful to not pull back and double jump at the same time, because that will result in you just doing a backflip. Once you start getting your fast aerials down and aerials in general, start incorporating your air roll button. You'll notice that when you hold down air roll and spin, you're going to be spinning on a vertical axis rather than rocking your car from side to side. All types of movement in the air can be useful, and in the long run, you'll be doing a lot of different movements. Another important thing to think about here is feathering your boost. So as you can see here, I'm just mashing the boost button as much as I can to find a point where I can just sort of hover and float through the air. This is very important, especially when you start doing air dribbles and more advanced moves, because just holding down boost in general isn't really that effective. So get used to just feathering your boost and really controlling it. This is going to lead to things like air dribbles, double taps off the backboard, and some really impressive ceiling shots and moves that you didn't think you could do when you first started the game. Don't get too far ahead of yourself here. It will take a lot of time and practice to start doing those advanced things. So the next big thing that we're talking about here is your boost control. Now, I know those big shiny boosts in the corners and the sides of the field can be so tempting to go after, but I promise you, you always want to think about ball over boost here. And when you start learning to conserve your boost, you'll be able to use that boost in much more crucial positions such as aerials, saves, being an opponent to a ball, or getting back to the net as fast as you can. We're going to talk a little bit later about how you can use movement and momentum techniques to where you don't even have to use your boost. So as you can notice in this clip here, I'm trying to save up as much boost as I can, and there's a lot of boost pads around on the ground for you to use. Boost pads are your best friend here. It only takes 14 or 12 boosts or something like that to get to the top of your net and make a save. And at the end of the day, if you don't get scored on, you can't lose. So think about that in the long run and how it really impacts your gameplay, and save that boost for the best moments possible. So talking about movement and momentum around the field, there's a couple techniques that you can use that will really expand your opportunities, especially when you're facing the wrong direction or you're low on boost and you still need to move quickly towards the ball. So the first thing that we're going to talk about here is just simply flipping around the field. You can use diagonal flips where you're pushing not entirely forward or towards the side, but just a good diagonal flip, and that will help you really start to move around the field some. The next thing we're going to talk about here is wave dashing. So it's a little bit more complex and not nearly as necessary as flipping, but wave dashing is a huge way to improve your game. Essentially what you're doing here is jumping, tilting your car to one direction, and then slamming your car onto the ground in the opposite direction that you tilted. You want to probably hold your power slide or your drift button while doing this, and this will really help you slide and keep that momentum going around the field. You can do this coming off of walls, you can do it going onto a wall, and in so many different ways, but it does help kick you into that supersonic speed. So now we're looking at what's called half flips. This is the best and quickest way to switch directions. Rather than doing back flips or trying to turn your car around, all you have to do here is do a double backflip and then push forward right after you do that. And what you're going to do here is cancel that double backflip, and you're going to be laying flat on your back. Once you can start canceling your double backflip like that, use your air roll button and turn your car over. It's very tricky and it definitely takes some time to get used to, but once you get this down, it will change your life. Now, you do want to boost while you do this, especially while your car is upside down, to keep your car off of the ground and give you time to really flip your car over. But once you get this down, you will surprise your opponents with how quickly you can flip. So now let's talk about rotation and team play. Now, with this overhead look, you can see I'm in the orange team with my teammate, and we're trying to stay away from each other and pass the ball to each other. We're never trying to get in front of each other, and we're simply rotating around each other. It's important to never think about playing goalie, but to keep in mind a fluid movement and gameplay between your team. Now, once you start getting that concept down, you'll be able to open up yourself to team plays, passing plays, and a whole lot more. If you're in the right position and your teammate knows that, they can pass to you and you can set yourself up for really great, easy scoring plays. This is huge for Rocket League and is definitely something that you'll just learn throughout time. So, we're finally in the home stretch. How to improve and training. There's a lot of great habits and really bad habits that you want to avoid, but I'm just going to go over the best things you can do for yourself right now, especially as new and low rank players. Go into free play, get used to controlling and dribbling the ball around. In the long run, having this control over the ball will help you in so many ways and teach you so many natural abilities with Rocket League. Another good thing to do is to just challenge yourself. The more you get uncomfortable in free play with flying around or moving the ball, the more you're going to learn your mistakes and how to improve. You can toss ball cam on and try to fly around in circles around the ball. Do this with and without air roll to really fine point some of your air controls. And you can also try to fly around on the ground using those pads as sort of obstacles to go around. And this will help you really fine point some of that control, how to turn, and how to adjust at those crucial moments that you should be. Now, on top of free play, there's obviously custom training packs, and these are huge. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there on how you can follow some of these shots and exactly what you should or shouldn't be doing, but just hop into any of them and try them out. Any practice is good practice. That being said, try to not cancel and reset your shots as soon as you mess up and just follow through on certain things. This is a great example of a missed shot that I was able to turn around into a nice little dribble and flick play. Now, of course, I'm not the only person out here on YouTube with videos of how to get better. There is so much information ranging from professional players down to even some low rank players, but I would recommend looking at anything and everything that you think is useful, because there might just be that one thing somebody says that finally makes a certain move click in your head, and all that information is great. Thank you again so much for coming by today's video. I know we covered a lot of information very quickly and briefly, so if there's anything you have more questions about or moves that you would like to learn about, drop a comment below and let me know what videos I should make next. As I mentioned earlier, we do stream on Twitch, so feel free to come by the stream and ask me any other questions there as well. And that's going to do it today, so please like the video, comment, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.